Now, these ideas that we had, the first idea that we had was two men are running, right? And what happens is, as they're running, we get flashbacks to who they are beforehand and what's got them into the situation. So it's sort of like two stories in one. The second idea was Micah's.
A person falls asleep and wakes up in a world where time isn't real.
Basically, like time is changing around kind of thing, and then it's like if they fall asleep, time continues. If they don't fall asleep, time stops.
Yeah, sort of like an Alice in Wonderland sort of thing, where she wakes up and there's like no, and like everything, and like time isn't working and everything's bonkers. And the third idea was. And the third idea, we had a series of events showing a couple dating, and it like shows their relationship to the point where, and it shows their relationship to the point of the end. And there is going to be like, and there was going to be a twist, but granted, it's like one of those ones that like overdone. But if it's done right, then that'll be great, because it's one of those ones where it happens a lot, but if you stick the landing, then it'll be a really good one. We decided to go with one because with this you can go in like a series of directions with it, and it can show it, and it basically gives you a series of ways on where you can take these characters and the relationships that they go through.
Now, as you can see, the bomb has related to the portmanteau. So obviously, our whole thing is about is about clocks to begin with. So remember, I made a theme about how it would put all this together. So because of that theme, we're gonna have a clock at the start and the end. We picked 9 o'clock was it to do? So ours would be the 9th film, and it would start at 9 o'clock at the start, and then by the end of it, it would have 10 o'clock, so we can transition into the next film. Because if people aren't aware, we've got I've came with a structure to structure all our films into one thing. When I do invite you to the group, the numbers mean nothing. The numbers are simply just a way to put everything in order. Another thing I also want to say is our films. I was thinking about like length of how long films could be, and most of the time when we make films for college, it's like 2 to 3 minutes long each. And I think if we made like 2 to 3 minutes for a duration, that would be a good amount. But anyways, that's what we plan on doing. At the moment, we don't know how to put that into it. Like Ben said, we have the idea of 2 characters kind of running away from each other, and the backstory of them being they're both friends that knew each other. But it's kind of it's a symbol of the fact that money can corrupt someone to the point where this person that grew up with this other person, know each other for a long time. They were friends since like primary school, and all the rest of it turned evil and hunted him basically. And it's basically kind of a symbol to show that don't let money take over you, because there's a lot of instances where money can take over a lot of people. Like for example, there can be there's a bunch of franchises that I've seen that have done the same thing, where they've started a project up as just a fun thing, and they've seen how much money they can make off it, and they've just made it towards the money side of action instead of actually putting passion into it. And you can see it as things develop, and that's how most things fall. So it's basically a film to say money is good, but don't let it take over your brain. Remember that you still have yourself, and don't let it control and make you do things that in the real world you shouldn't do to begin with, basically.
That's good. What you've just said is good, because it takes you to this slide, which is basically what the essence of the film is, like what themes we want to go with. So we wanted to tackle themes like corruption, greed, loss of innocence, and betrayal. And for the target audience, we decided that it'll be great for people who are in the demographic of like men and women between 18 and 29, who like drama, and people who are, and it also appeals to people who are like 15 to 30 because who like stories that relate to crime. It's relevant because these are all relevant because when we thought of making it, it felt very like David Fincher adjacent, so like East Evans, New Gone Girls, and that sort of thing.
I'd also like to add to that, this film will be based towards kind of the audience group that's struggling, because it's kind of like if you think about it, there's a group of people that are struggling. If they see a lot of money, they're gonna go for it, and it's basically trying to say that even though they think that money is happiness, because a lot of people that I used to talk to in secondary school actually believed this, that money was happiness, and in some cases it is, but not for everything. I mean, I'm part of the audience group that don't have that much, but I'm still happy with what I have, because I have a family, I have friends, I have an education, I have hobbies and interests and all the rest of it. And to me, that's what brings happiness more. But that's basically what we're targeting this towards. We want to target towards people that are kind of in a similar situation where they don't have that much income and they see an opportunity, and even if it's doing something bad, they want to do it just to live off it. And it can also show the fact that sometimes money can, depending on how bad a situation is, for example, let's say you're going to lose a house because you don't have the money and you see some sort of job that gives you that opportunity, but that job involves you doing something like a heinous crime. I don't know if I've said that. Heinous crime? I can't remember.
Heinous, yeah.
Heinous crime. Yeah. Thank you, Ben.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, doing a heinous crime, which can lead to corruption, and like Ben said, it's basically a film about how money can sometimes corrupt people because of the age, and we decided that age group will be the best people to tie it towards, because if someone is poor and sees a lot of money in front of them, if they're in a really difficult situation, they're most likely going to take it, even if it is a bad situation. So it's kind of a film to tell people that even if you are that, you can still be happy, and it's not a case of you have to do a heinous crime to get that certain thing. Because if I was in a situation like that, I would never do it, even if there was a bunch of money. Let's say there's like a massive, there's like a table of like a lot of money in front of me that could be mine and my family's, which would help us massively. I wouldn't take it because yes, you get a positive from it, but you get a lot more of a negative, and it's, I don't know how to explain it. It'll be explained a lot better in the film. I'm terrible at explaining words. I'm better at visualizing things and explaining things.
Good thing that's what films are for. And
yes.
And moving on to so we've touched on target audiences, but
yes.
moving on to the psychographics and the marketing, we've decided that we're thinking that when it comes to psychographics, we think that it will appeal to like mainstreamers and reformers. Reformers because of how because I'm thinking about like making it a bit more experimental with like experimental and one of those types of films that like film buffs get into and stuff. But also because it has like a message of like of corruption is bad and what it can lead people to do. And I also think that it might fit in line with mainstreamers because as well as the terms of flashbacks and things are used in like films in general. So like someone who is mainstream will probably be able to get enjoyment out of it as well as a performer. So the roles of the film, I'm going to be writing, directing, editing, camera operating, but I'll also do other things on the side like storyboarding and that sort of thing, like that area of things. Micah?
I'll be the camera operator and the editor.
Just to mention, he's the main camera operator. Ben's kind of like the assistant core camera operator basically.
Yeah,
and I'm going to be the producer. Don't know why I put camera operator because I'm not very good at it. But producer, and I'll be the producer, and I guess co-editor. I don't remember talking about that. Okay.
Oh no, I think it's because with the editor, I think it's one of those things where like we all have an edit to make.
Oh yeah, we do. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'll be the producer, so that means I'm responsible for making the pre-production paperwork. That means I'm responsible for finding locations. That means I'm responsible for getting. My mind's gone blank. I'm responsible for getting actors. I'm responsible for making sure that there's a risk assessment and everything is made sure that there's no risks on set. If there was a budget, I would be responsible for that, but I don't think we're going for a budget, so I'm not really bothered about that. Call sheet if that's necessary. And I think that's it. And then just making sure that everything goes. And then I need to be on set as well.
And with budgets, I think I might be able to, once we've got the script and all that, I'll be able to like see what we need, and then can just like figure out like where to get what.
Once you've got the script done, I'll get all the pre-production paperwork done within a week.
Bingo. So moving on from that, we're now on to character profiles. So we decided to go with personalities of characters first and how they appear second, because when it comes to making a character, it's better to like have a character in mind before you actually like go out and cast them. So for the first one, we decided to paint his corruption sort of like and have an arc, so like of him having a fall from grace, so like you Walter White, you see Darth Vader's, and that sort of thing, where it shows you them starting off as good, but then they descend into territories where with corruption things. As well, like Gollum from Lord of the Rings, where he starts off good, but then he finds the ring and it changes him into something recognisable. Character 2, Jane, would you like to?
Can you read it? Since I've
okay.
done quite. I feel like we're not splitting this.
It's alright, it's good.
Fair enough. And for character 2, we decided to make him contrasting personality by making him bold and upstanding. So we went with the character Kiryu from the Yakuza series, who's even though he's a member of the Yakuza, he's like one of those upstanding ones that who if you were to put him on the on the morality scale, he would probably land at lawful neutral or lawful good. Lawful neutral definitely. And that's what we've got for them. And we also thought about Jay Coit from Training Day, where it shows you him start off with, but as the film progresses, he ends up having to find ways to take down Denzel Washington's character. Here's a mood board that I did. So these are all like the types of things that would like to be conveyed. So to start off with, John Constantine. He's there because that's sort of the type of costume that I was thinking of, like a tie and how he's dressed. Pulp Fiction and Seven. Those two are there because of the mood. Because with to like sort of get through that. Just because I kind of think that whole Greekness aspect is best represented in those two, and I kind of think going down that direction might be a good way to go. Train Spotting is there because I like because of the very first scene where it's him running, and it shows you him running, but then it like gives you, but as he's doing it, you sort of get flashbacks and you're introduced to like all members of the group as he's doing it. And then it takes you backward and it sort of like works, and you have to work your way back to where he is there. The letterbox aspect ratio is there because I'm thinking about maybe going that way to try and make it more cinematic. And the final one is Jim McGill from the final Better Call Saul poster, where it's black and white, but that's red, and that takes us to colour palette. So for the colour palette, we decided to like change it. So like in most shows and stuff, the past is in black and white, whereas the future's in colour. But we thought about basically getting that and turning it on its head. So like the future's like bleak and the future's more bleak and the black and white. And it's shot, and the past is shot in colour. reason why is because it also feels like a stylistic choice, because with that one it's also to represent that the future is bleak and uncertain, whereas the past is a bit more is like bright and colourful because you know what happened, because you're more because you know what happens. Sort of like in Better Call Saul, where all the future scenes are shot in black and white, whereas in the past it's all in colour, and that's where I got the idea from. These two pictures are there because I basically asked the second years who made these how they shot in black and white, and with Eden's, they basically said what they did was they shot in colour, but they made the shadows and everything out in post production. And with Brody, what he did with his is he looked into the grayscale colours and basically looked at like where to shoot and like the do's and don'ts. So with this shot, it's not too sunny, because if it is, then it will just overexpose the frame. It won't look good. So it's also making sure that like the actual weather is doing us is in favour of the shot. Equipment list. So we have a gimbal, a Zoom HQ, a boom mic, an XLR cable, a Lumix S5, a tripod, and a yellow camera filter. Michael, would you like to talk us through that, or?
Well, these are just essential kit we're going to be using. Lumix S5, I'm mainly used to a Lumix camera, so do that one. Gimbal to get the running shots more steady. Tripod, again steady, and the boom pole and the Zoom H6 for audio.
And yellow camera filter because again it came to my research of shooting in black and white, and apparently a yellow camera filter does wonders for it. And thanks for listening. Any questions?
Oh, students, any questions?
Miles?
This isn't a question, but have you seen? Well, it is a question. Have you seen the Portmanteau film, The House?
Yes, I have.
That's all about materialism and how it can affect different groups of people.
Yeah.
The second film in that's a lot about hiding flaws of materialistic objects.
Yeah, because it's like there's maggots everywhere and all that, and what it does is he tries to like refurbish it to make sure they're hiding so they don't appear. And with the first one, it's basically they have to like sell everything in order to keep the new house, and I think with the third one it's more about like trying to keep everything afloat even though there's like nothing there. Yeah. Any other questions for anyone?
You're going to include like dialogue.
Oh yeah, well.
Basically in the flashback scenes, we're thinking of doing like some ADR over the top, like basically the flashbacks will be little short motion videos, but then over the top we'll have the ADR audio to represent what's happening in them, and then maybe have, I don't know, depending on which one we show, because like I said, as this is all happening, I was just thinking now as you were talking about that, we could have like the clock slowly ticking in the background, because obviously at the very end of the clip it's going to be 10 a.m, which is going to be the next film after that. So if we have the clock slowly tick down to that in the background, like get louder and louder and louder and louder into the climax, then that could raise some suspense and some tension, which would be a good idea. But yes, there will be dialogue in it, but it'll be mostly ADR stuff over the top of like these little flashbacks that we show in between when this chase is happening.
Anyone else? Can you just recap what I'm going to see? What's happening on screen?
Oh, what's happening on screen is, let's see. Okay, so what's happening on screen is you can have shots of like people. You can have like a chase scene, but it's gonna like but it's gonna show you like flashbacks as to how the characters have got there, sort of thing.
Okay.
So it's like it shows you the future, and then it shows you the present, but it's also telling you the story of like how they got there. So it's sort of like 2 in 1.
Okay, what's the story of how they got there?
Oh, basically, one of them steals something, and he runs off, and it's sort of like he finds out that it's him, and then the other guy, and it's basically sort of like that.
Okay.
Do you want me to elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure.
So, so basically, the film is about how money can turn someone corrupt. These people were friends to begin with, and the other person became Paul, the one that steals something, and the other person became wasn't Paul, but became a police officer or something like that, and they had this person. I can't. They had to go after them and arrest them. They didn't want to, but the big cash prize for doing it, because there was like wanted posters all around where they live, and they knew it was their friend, but they seen the cash prize that they could get, and because they're in a decent position, but they could be better. So it's that kind of drive to want to be more famous than they already are. Fame drives them to do something they don't want to,
Okay.
and as that is happening, the audience are seeing flashbacks to these two characters being happy with each other, these two characters getting on at school, these two characters getting on at secondary, and all the rest of it, showing basically their life tick down as it's all happening, and that clock kind of symbolizes how each tick of the clock you're hearing is each one of those memories being vanished.
Right. All right. Okay.
Until
Cool.
the climax, and then the next film will play.
All right. Okay, Marcy, you got anything? Take it again.
Thank you. Bit the same, great essence, but I put question mark for the story stroke plot, so
Yeah.
that's becoming a bit clearer. Just a little thing, I know it's hard because it probably looks clear on the screen when you're in the Mac lab, but just be careful with your colours and your fonts.
Yeah.
Orange on teal, it looks lovely, but it's difficult to read. Think you all did well. The way you guys are, you did really, really well, all three of you, to come up and do this in front of an audience. So well done, but well done in particular to Ben for reining in and getting the presentation on track with humour.
Yeah.
You took great control there. I can see you've really improved since being on this course with your presentations. And I am going to channel my Paddy here. A call sheet is fucking necessary. How was that?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Thank you. Yeah. So I know it's possibly just going to be you guys perhaps doing the filming, but still do a call sheet, because remember we need that for the qualification.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Good.
Sweet. Yeah, I've got like Ben. You're very confident, well spoken. Texts were the slides were text heavy, but you didn't actually read one that much, so you didn't really need them. Jamie, you spoke really well. Micah, I've got here that Micah's not saying anything. Micah's still not talking. I wonder if Micah's going to talk. And then you read in the quick with this, so at least you did that. I wasn't really. Oh, have you seen Run Lola Run?
No, but it's on my watch list, and I think you showed us the
clip
part
from
where she's run downstairs and
Yeah.
turns into a cartoon.
Like, I don't think the idea's there yet, but I think you should go watch Run Lola Run. I like the theme because that's topical. I think you should research the cost of living crisis. I think you could also research what is the meaning of happiness and just question people, like, when are you happy? And what is it?
That's something we can do a survey out of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. See, people still think money buys you happiness.
Yeah.
When you look at Elon Musk, he's a twat. Like, it's not.
Darren, you on record?
That's okay. He is. But yeah, he is. He's like, he's on Twitter, kind of ranting at people. Do you think that guy's happy?
No.
He's just donated several tens of millions to Trump.
Yeah. Yeah, but do you know why?
He's always going on about how Trump's going to save America. I had to block him because his tweets kept coming
Well,
up.
Trump's going to publish the Epstein files. That's what Elon Musk wants to happen.
I'd quite like that.
I know. Anyway, cost of living crisis good. There's a short film called The Black Hole that I'll send you a link to. 2.5 minutes, and it's about greed. And I just think you can maybe be a bit more sophisticated with how you're looking at greed. And yeah, the audience was in depth, colour in depth. That was fine. There's also a movie on, I think it's on Netflix, called The Platform. Has anyone seen it?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
It's hard to explain, but it's like, it's the capitalist people. They make tons of food, they eat it, and and they send it underground to the people up underneath them,
Yeah,
some
yeah.
poorer people. And the way they sign up for it is if you're, isn't it you win money or something like
Don't
that?
know.
Like, but it's like they could ask for one thing to keep, and people have got like weapons or like
Yeah.
a dog, and it's just horrible. Like people kill each other. Like they travel on the platform all the way down to the bottom, and because it flies back up to the top when
Yeah.
it's got to the very bottom.
Right.
Because by the first like 5 platforms, all the food's gone.
Yeah,
'Cause
so
it's been
it's-
eaten by the rich people, and then because you can't take food off the platform and keep it because
Yeah.
it won't do anything, because it'll get sent back up.
Yeah.
So they have to eat it and devour it, and just leave it.
Yeah.
So they'll just, it's a good movie.
What's the Korean movie? It's a bit like that on the train.
Oh, Snowpiercer, that's
Oh,
another
yeah,
good one.
Snowpiercer.
So yeah, that's good. And also, I was going to say,
Parasite? Because it's by the same director.
no. I was thinking Snowpiercer, and I was thinking something else.
If you do want to do a chase scene, you need to research chase scenes. You've got Point Break, but also if it's a theft thing, it's kind of Aladdin. It's, it's
Yeah.
animated Aladdin. But I think there's a way to make it easier to shoot if you can just come up with more of a metaphor for greed than just like
Yeah.
theft.
Okay.
But if you do want to stick with it, I would look at examples of kind of cop robber friendships. So like in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, there's one. In French Kiss, there's another. There's quite a few movies where like people just grow up on the wrong side. So their best friend, one's a cop, one's a villain, basically.
Fast
Yeah.
and Furious.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Um,
the film I was thinking is Devil's Advocate,
Alright.
which
Yeah.
is like basically they'll go through hell, and at the end they're still tempted by the same choice from the devil. Basically, yeah, it's Keanu Reeves and
Yeah,
Al
it is.
Pacino.
I don't know. I think it's too ambitious, but I'm not going to tell you not to do it because it's pass fail. So even if it goes wrong, it's kind of okay. And you can be ambitious if you want, and I'm not quite sure what I'm seeing yet. So please just do a little bit more research on those things and short films and films that explore greed, and then see if it impacts your project in any way.
Yeah, alright.
It just feels a little bit like a non-movie at the moment. And the flashbacks are really hard to do. Even the chasing's are really hard to do.
We have some experience with it because the Out of Time film was a chase scene. I have that chase scene from
Okay.
when I was from level 2. I think I have a good chase scene at some
Okay.
point as well. So we have some decent experience with it, and we have some research that we can elaborate on
Okay, cool.
from
That-
previous years too.
That's fine. Cool. Yep. Go make movies.
Right, brilliant.
Hey,
Also, when you were saying about the fact that was too ambitious,
Yeah.
would you say it was too ambitious for the time range we have, or just too ambitious full stop?
for the time frame and that we're down a paddy.
Okay, so if this was done for an FMP, then would you see that as ambitious?
No, it would be fine for an F&P
Okay.
because for the F&P you've got January, February, March, April. You've got 5 months. For this, you haven't even got 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
They're very wise. It just means you can't procrastinate. You just got to jump on it.
Yes. Sorry about the the words and the colour palette, not the colour palette, the words being in colour. It's because we're trying to find a way of how who does
Oh, I
what.
can
Yeah.
get that totally. And I said, honestly, I bet you it looked great on the Max, didn't it? It's just
Yeah, it
in
did.
here, and that might be why when you were glancing at it, you were struggling to see.
Actually, now that I think
Yeah.
about it, when I did mine and Micah's for our experimental pitch, I forgot to tell you this, but it probably would have been better if we put like the text like the purple and orange text on like a black box underneath it, and then it was in bold. Just would have helped it stand out a bit more. I think.
It's just a tiny little thing. It's fine. It's all, yeah, it's just a little thing.
Okay, who's going next?